Hi, this is Mary Bush from Stampin' in the Sand. Thank you for joining me today. Today's project takes us outside the paper pumpkin box. We are going to be using the Happy Thoughts Paper Pumpkin Kit from June 2015, and we're going to be creating a Project Life 2-page spread called This One's for the Boys. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to need out of your paper pumpkin kit is one of your banner-shaped cards. You're going to need one of your green hexagon patterned envelope liners. And you're going to need one sheet of your triangles and squares sticker sheets. You're also going to need one sheet of your pre-die cut wooden embellishments. You are going to need your Tip Top Taupe Stampin' Spot. You're going to need your roll of twine. You're going to need your glue dots that come in the kit. And you're going to need two 8x8 Project Life pocket pages. I have chosen the sheets that have a 4x6 in the bottom and two 3x4s at the top. So those are our pages. Can put those aside for a moment. I also am going to be using the Love You a Lot stamp set from the April 2015 Paper Pumpkin Kit. If you do not have this stamp set, you can feel free to substitute any other sayings or stamp sets of your choosing that are in your supply. But those are the ones that I'm going to be using today. We do not need these instructions. Okay, so what I have done is I have taken a 12x12 sheet of craft cardstock and I have cut two 4x6 pieces from that one sheet. That's going to form the base of my 4x6 pockets. Then from my long banner shaped card, bring that back in so you can see, I have cut a 2 3/4 inch by 3 3/4 inch piece from the end here, which leaves me with this piece here. And I have done that from both sides. So in the end, I'm going to have two of these arrow pieces and two of these pieces. I have the other one already set aside. I've already decorated it. You just don't see it out on the table at the moment. Then I've chosen to use the Wild Wasabi cardstock, and I have cut two pieces that are 3 inches by 4 inches, and those are for the tops of my pocket pages. Then from the envelope liner piece that you see here, I have cut down to 6 inches from the end towards the pointed part here. And then I cut that in half, and then I shaved just a little off the end. So now I'm left with these two pieces that are 3 inches by 4 inches, and then I have a piece here that can still be used inside an envelope liner. It'll fit perfectly, and then a little shave piece that went into the scrap pile. So those are our pieces. So let's get started assembling our pages. So I'm going to bring back in my pages. Those are here. Okay, so we're going to take our craft 4x6 sheets, I think this one goes this way, and tuck them inside. I think this one's on the back. Sometimes easier said than done, right? Okay. And then we're going to put one this way, and we're going to put one this way. Then I'm going to have this is going to go there. This is going to go here, and this is going to go here. And these aren't getting embellished, so we're going to just tuck these right into the top, like so. Okay, put those aside for a moment. Push those up. Okay, so next we have these. Now this is how I've chosen to embellish these pieces. So here's your 2 3/4 by 3 3/4 piece of white that came out of your card. I'm going to bring in this rope pattern. I don't know if you can see that, but it's right here in the Love You a Lot stamp set. I'm bringing that in. I've got it adhered to my block, and I'm going to bring in my Wild Wasabi ink pad. Now, I looked at this designer paper, and it was close, but not as bright as the new Cucumber Crush, so I decided to go with Wild Wasabi. So we're just going to ink this up. This one I've pre-done for you, just so the video doesn't take so long. Here. I'll line this up. Eyeball it. Okay. Ink this up. And sorry, I'm gonna have to stand up for this one. Make sure to see if I don't get my head in the video. It's a little off, but that's okay. That's why there's a star over here. Okay, it's kind of hard to stand up underneath the video because the last thing you want to see is the top of my head. Ooh, and the last thing you want me to do is hit the video and shake you. Sorry. All right, let's fix you here. Oh my. I'm really sorry. That's an epic failure. Okay, I'm sorry. You're all fixed. Okay. All right, so next, I'm going to come in with my Fast Fuse adhesive and put a little along the top. And then I'm just going to line this up on my card until I feel it's good and centered. Like so. And then I'm going to come in with my glue dot and my paper piercing tool and pull the backing off. And I'm going to bring in my pre-die cut wooden pieces, and I'm going to very carefully remove one of these stars. And I'm going to ball up my glue dot on the back and position my star to cover up the fact that those aren't lined up precisely. Put that aside. And now these are ready to tuck into my pages. So there's one. Maybe we'll put this one in going this way. But the nice thing about the pocket pages is just because you've put them in this way doesn't mean that you can't adjust later. If you have journaling that you want to do or photos you want to do that don't quite match the layout, you can flip things around very easily. So the next thing you're going to want to do is bring back in your wooden embellishments, and I need you to pop out 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these wooden triangles and put them out on your work surface. So now I have my 6 already popped out, and you do want to do this gently because I found that I actually snapped the tip off of one when I wasn't so careful, and you don't want to do that to your triangles. Now, the next thing you're going to do, and I've already gone ahead and done it as a test to make sure it was going to work, is you're going to take out these star triangle self-adhesive sticker pieces here in the green. Pop the star out of the middle And then they fit perfectly on top of your wooden pennants. So you're going to have 2 of those. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back in my Wild Wasabi ink pad. I'm going to take the star stamp from the stamp set that came with the Happy Thoughts paper pumpkin. It's a star that's right here. You can see that, and here's the star. I'm going to stamp it or tap it lightly into my Wild Wasabi ink, and then I'm going to stamp it directly onto my wooden pennant. And you can see this one, I did it earlier. Okie doke. Clean that off a little bit. All right, now I'm going to close this up because that's how accidents happen, is when I don't do that. The next thing you're going to want to do is cut about 6 inches of twine off of your roll. And we're going to take that and we're going to adhere it onto the back of this piece. Now, I'm going to use dimensionals, Stampin' Dimensionals that I have, that I already have in my stash, because they're a little bit thinner than the ones that come in the paper pumpkin kit. However, you can feel free to use the ones that came in the kit if you do not have these dimensionals at your disposal. I just like these that we get in our annual catalog because they're just a little bit thinner, so they don't pop up as much in the albums. And then I'm just going to come in and I'm going to snip off a little bit. I don't need that much behind there. Okay, so there's one. Now I need to grab my other one. And stick this one on the back. Not that you need to watch me fumbling around with dimensionals, but it's all part of the process, I guess. Okay. So there's the other one. And again, I'm just going to snip off a little bit of that. Okay, so there's those. Then I'm going to come in with my wooden pennants and flip them over. And I'll bring back in my dimensionals. And one on the back of each pennant should suffice. And I'll also tell you that I have not assembled one of these pages as a sample before. I had the concept worked out in my head, but this is actually the first time I've sat down and done it. So I'm hoping that when we're done, we're all going to like it, because I only receive one paper pumpkin kit a month. I know a lot of demonstrators, they'll subscribe receive multiples every month. I chose not to. I just received the one. So I'm working with the supplies I have, which means I'm not provided enough materials to always, try something out ahead of time and then have extras to allow me to do a video. All right, so we're going to come in. I'm going to move these a little bit more. And I'm going to space these out. I think that's a little high. I'm going to just gently put these down because I don't think, oh, that's the wrong one. I don't want them permanently. Actually, maybe if I do it this way, then I can go to the middle. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here, but I'm finding the center, or just about the center, so that I can space these out fairly evenly. It's kind of hard to do when you're sitting down in your chair and you're trying not to get your head in a video. So I certainly hope that my head's not sticking up in the middle of this video. All right, so we're going to have one more here. That looks like it's pointing about center. Oops. There's one there. And then that one's too low. Okay, that looks about right. Okay, so next I'm going to come in with my Tip Top Taupe stamp pad. Now you can certainly use the spot that came with the kit just for the videos purposes. I'm going to find it a lot easier and faster if I just use this stamp pad. So let's see, I'm going to have to stand up again. So my idea is to have this on the right side of my page. So I want to see if I can get this reasonably straight. So we're going to stamp this, and then I'm going to cross my fingers and hope it worked. If it's crooked, I'm going to be really, really sad. Oh, it's not. Look at that. That worked. Yay. Okay. Then I'm going to come in. So that was the Love You. I'm sorry, backtrack. That was the Love You. And that came from the Love You a Lot stamp set. So here's the love and the you. And now I'm coming in with the hey and the dude from this stamp set. And I have them on a block here. And we're going to bring them and ink them up as well in the Tip Top Taupe. Now, on a previous video that I did for this kit, I had told you that I caught some ink on my flower. I think you can probably see this ink right there. That's exactly how I did it. So, right next to my workstation, I keep a container of Q-tips. And I come in with my Q-tip and I clean any extra ink off of my stamp or off of my block. If I'm using rubber stamps, you know how you can sometimes get the edges. But the Q-tips right by my workstation, they kind of come in very handy. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to just ink up that hey just a little bit more. I'm going to come in with my Hey Dude. And I want this a little lower because I want to do some extra embellishments up top and have some room maybe to put a date or something like that on my page. So there's my Hey Dude. That didn't come out too bad. And it even looks a little bit rustic where the ink didn't get all the way into the paper. Okay. So now I can sit back down and I'm going to bring in my paper here and I'm going to flip this over, and now I can peel off the backing from my dimensionals. And I think I'll bring in one more for the center, but I'm using dimensionals back here because there's going to be extra room on my piece of craft, and I want to be able to tuck in a photo underneath, and the dimensionals are going to allow me to do that, where if I adhered this panel with the tape runner or snail or fast fuse, I wouldn't be able to slip a photo under there. So another dimensional. So now I've got plenty of room to slip a photo underneath. And there's also a lot more play in a dimensional, so if you came along and your photo actually bumped into the dimensional, it's pretty easy to peel these off once they're on there, where snail or fast fuse, it's not as easy to go in later and fix it. All right. Okay, so that looks good. Now also later, if I'm not slipping a photo all the way underneath, it's also easier for me to slip one more dimensional under there if I want for a little extra stability. Say that 10 times fast, Mary, why don't you? So this is looking pretty cute. It's coming out pretty close to what I had envisioned, and I'm actually thinking that I might just leave it alone and not add anything extra. Although I do think that some of these little flag bits here, I may come in, see how this one, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but this one's tipping a little bit towards its point. I might come under here and slip in a little extra little piece of dimensional underneath my tips just to keep them from breaking and bending. So let's slip this in and see what we think. Let's see. All right, so we got that one there. This one has to go in from the back. And there you have it. Okay, I think that looks pretty cute. What do you think? I think I'm going to leave it alone. Originally, I was thinking that maybe I would come in and do some extra stars, but I'm really thinking that I'm going to leave it alone for now. I'll always have that option after I decide what I'm going to have for photos on my page, but I do have this cute little star, and I have my little tip-top taupe, so it actually might be cute to put some tip-top taupe stamped stars down on here, but I may want to wait and see what I have for photos so that I can place them where you can see a few of them. And other than that, I think we're looking pretty cute. I think I like it. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you like my 2-page Project Life spread using the Happy Thoughts paper pumpkin kit, the Love You a Lot paper pumpkin kit, and a few extra embellishments to go along with those. So have a great day, happy stamping, and I hope to stamp with you again soon. Bye!